Hello, this is a tutorial on using a formative assessment tool for audience response capture, live audience response capture. Similar to things like Socrative and Quizlet and Go Soapbox and some of the other tutorials that I made. This one's, I think, is a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit larger learning curve, but I think there's a few features that you might find appealing if you like to do this. So to get access to it, it's goformative.com. That's how you get to these pages. Now, I have a split screen going here. The page on the left is going to be your faculty view, and the page on the right is going to be the student view. So it's an audience response system, as I said. It's free for both faculty and students. It works on all platforms, so students can access it with a laptop of any kind, a desktop. They can access it with a mobile device as well. It's interactive. You have the ability to record the results and have the results exported to you in an Excel spreadsheet. And basically, it's account sign up, and then there's an access code generated for your particular course. So let's first of all show you, you'd go into the sign up options here and sign up. So you'd identify yourself as a teacher and a student, and this part is basically the same thing for the teacher and the student side. So just quickly showing you the student side, you enter your name, email address, and password. You can also sign in with your Google Plus account. So I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. And so that'll launch my particular formative assessment account. There we go. And so let's show you the tabs here. You have a sample formative assessment with some responses. So there's 4 responses in here. So this is just a sample of what you can do. The formative assessment is the assignment that I just created prior to starting this. And there's some other things here. You can view some tutorials here that Formative has created. But basically, we're in the assignment tab. There's the profile where you enter your particular information. There's the new assignment tab or button that we're going to use, and then there's the classes button that we're going to use, and then obviously sign out. Anytime that you need to get back to this area, you're going to be looking for the dashboard. Dashboard will bring you back to your home page of Formative. So in this particular case, if I click on classes, you will see that I have a test class that I've already put together, and we have one assignment already built here. And then notice the class code. This is important because this is what you're going to share with the student is the class code. They're going to actually have to have this information in order to get into this version of the class. So I'm going to show you what this looks like first and the different types of questions that you can put in here for assessment purposes, and then we'll show you how to create a new class. It's relatively simple. So over here to the right, I'm going to go and log in, essentially sign up again, just like I showed you before, but I'm going to log in here. And so here we are. So Bart Simpson has logged in. If Bart Simpson is in more than one class or has more than one class assignment, they'll all be listed here. In this particular case, there's one class that Bart Simpson is in, and it does have a identified number here. If there were 2 or 3 or whatever, that would be the number of assignments that Bart has not participated in as of yet. So Bart's actually going to need this code, so I'm just going to actually type this in right here. Just for right now. So I'm going to go back to this particular spot. I'm going to head back to my dashboard. And adding assignments would be right here again. This is the assignment that we're actually going to work in. This is the particular course. We can see the number of students we have in this class. In this case, it's one particular student. So the student Bart Simpson is going to go into this course. You can see that there's a formative assessment here. So the student has the questions that have been created. As you can see, we've created a multiple choice question. Here's the total point value here. So we have a choice to take here in the multiple choice situation. We have a short answer, so what's the shortest month in the calendar? We have a true and false. We have a situation where we've included an image. We have multicolored inks here, and what we want them to do is we want them to identify something here and then do something with it. And then this is an opinion question, and then we have a plotting question. So those are just some examples. You can import PDFs, you can input images, JPEGs and GIFs work well. You can input a YouTube video and have students watch that and then maybe have some comments or questions regarding that. So at this particular point, the student is actually going to take this exam. So let's just go ahead and, so I do want to point out here, in this particular case, since I know what I put for my answer, that's how I wrote it. If you are going to have a situation where spelling is important or all caps or not, you actually have to, when you create your solutions, you have to put all of those choices out there just with commas. So in this particular case, I have seen here that I've taken that particular question and my score. There are 51 states in the United States. False. Circle of factor reveals how much 5,000 would grow into 10 years at 5%. So I find my periods and I find my 10 years. I'm going to actually grab a color here and I'm going to highlight that particular factor. Then I'm going to move down to the last question. It's an opinion question. What's your opinion of this banner? Very readable. I guess that's what is it? Readable? Easy to read. How about that? Then I don't have to try to figure out what that is. Easy to read. Okay, and then plot this information. So plot the point where x equals 4 and y equals 6. x4, y6. I have to grab my color here. Now, for whatever reason, it's not allowing me to identify that one, but we'll work on that later. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and submit. So your work's been submitted, so I can log out now from a student perspective. And we're going to go back into the instructor view, and we're going to pull up this class. So back over here on the left side here, the formative assessment, that's the assignment that we just worked on. So I'm going to go over here and click on my classes here. And this is the class. So this is what this is actually the one that we're going to want to play with here. Okay, just to make sure that we're talking about that same one. Okay, so what we need is to pull up this assignment here. Whoops. And we're going to click on the live results. Now you could actually have the live results shown and have that on the screen if you would like to. But this would show you each individual question. So as you click on the question, you can see the answers that this individual person did. Or you could search by individual people. And you can see what people said regarding all those types of things. And then I can export, and it'll take it and send it to my particular email address in an Excel spreadsheet. There's no percentages associated with that, but you can see here for questions that had correct answers, you'll notice that because we had an answer set, it auto-graded it, which shows the green square, as opposed to if something would have been incorrect, it would have been a red square over here. Also, for things like where there's an opinion, or where you have to actually look to see if they've identified the proper place, if you click on it, you have the ability to kind of click and drag in case you want to give them partial credit. You can say, yes, they got 10 out of 10, or they got half, and so you want to give them some credit for the effort. but you don't want to score them as 0, like it's all or none. Okay, and then I can just advance questions this way, as well as clicking on the number score up here. And so you have steps to the process. You would build, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. You get to preview, and then you assign. All assign does is it allows you to choose the course. So you would take a new assessment, and we'll show you how to do that in a second, and you would assign it to a course just by clicking the box. So at this point, let's go back to a new assignment, and we're going to create a new assignment. So we're going to call it Formative Assessment 2. And just very briefly, I can add a question, multiple choice, show your work, short answer, true and false. There's adding content, which is I can add an image, I can add a text block, there's a whiteboard, and then here's that YouTube location. And then upload and transform. Upload is where you're going to actually put together some type of an image or any of these other types of choices. And there's going to be some interaction with the students. So you saw I was like circling that particular factor number for that one question. Okay, so that's pretty much where you're at on this kind of thing. I'm not going to do this type of assessment right now, so just kind of show you real briefly. So formative assessment, we're going to add a question, we're going to add a multiple choice. So there you go. And I could add another potential answer there. And so if I'm going to choose a correct answer, if there's going to be a correct answer, I also have the ability to adjust the points here. The default is always 10, but I can adjust the points to whatever I want. If I decide I don't like the question, I can go over here and exit out. If I'd like to add some help information for the student to help them out, I have the ability to do that here. So I'm going to add another question. So I'm going to do short answer. And there we go. And there's no correct answer for this. It's just going to give them a text box in order to fill in that information. So I'm going to add some content. I can add, again, whiteboard. I can add YouTube. Let's see if I still have that. Yep, still have that linked from my test earlier. Oops. And there we go. We have that content. And so now all the student's going to be able to do is to play that particular item, and we're going to be good. What else do I want to do? Upload and transform. Circle the correct factor, and I'm going to drag a file here. And let's go and get that time value of money table that I showed you earlier. Okay, and it's going to load that in there. Now notice that my cursor has turned into kind of a plus sign, right? It's not the little arrow anymore. Well, what I can do is, now that I have this particular image in here, I can click on it and it allows me to either add a question or add some content. So here's where I could add a question just like we did before, which is what I did in the original setup there. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of different things that you can do with this. At this point, if you wanted to see what this would look like, you can hit preview, and it'll show you kind of what it looks like. You can see here that this is where you'd go to click on this video and get that to launch. The student would go through and do all those things and hit submit. You can actually assign this. So now we have this second formative assessment, we need to assign it. So if I wanted to, I have to figure out which class. Right now I only have one other class, and I'm going to go ahead and just click on the box to the left of the class, and this has now been assigned. So I can go back in and edit the assessment that I just created if I'm not done, or if I decide I'd like to make some changes. Live results, again, will, if you have your instructor machine hooked up to a projector and you are projecting to your class, they'll get to see everything live as they have it. There's drawing tools in here as well. There's all kinds of different things. You also have the ability to share it with other teachers. So basically, if you created an assessment and other teachers were interested in it, if they have a goformative.com account, a formative account, you can share it with them and send them to link to this particular item. Okay, and then you're just going to go back to the classes and anything that you got set up. Now, if you needed to get somewhere or finish off what you need to do and you're all set and done, there's how you get to log out. But again, dashboard takes you back to anything that you need to do. You can see that I now have these 2 assessments that have been created here. And then there's a sample formative assessment. They also have a quick exit ticket. So this is kind of nice, a quick do now, quick show your work. These are kind of exit ticket tools like they have in something like Socrative. So, this is just something that I can put together really, really quick. I don't have to think about it ahead of time, and we can have some live results here. And again, you got your code. You can type a single question out here, so how comfortable are you with the material that we've presented today, or whatever it is that you'd like to do really, really fast. Again, you build, preview, assign, and live results. Let's see what else. So I could go ahead and have them show their work. It's, I can get them a whiteboard and say, draw me a picture of whatever it is that I would like them to see. And they have the ability then to do that. So there's a lot of things you can do. There's a little bit more of a learning curve to this particular formative assessment tool, but there are a lot of different features for it. And watching some of those tutorial videos that Formative has put out is really good. But basically, you're going to sign up, the students are going to sign up, then you will log in. There is a quick code that's created that must be shared with the students in order for them to get into the class. You have the ability just to do this for fun, for practice. You can create all kinds of different types of formative assessments, from questions, different question types. You can put images, PDFs, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets. You can load YouTube videos. You can put web links. A lot of different things you can import right into this particular tool. You have the ability for auto scoring or the manual scoring there, as they showed, where you can individually adjust the point values or give someone partial credit for something that wasn't an exact right or wrong. So again, this is called Formative. GoFormative.com is the website to get you started and have some fun with it.